Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your November 2018 mid-month general readings. Thank you for joining us here today. Welcome to any and all newcomers. Always thank you for those of you who continue to follow my channel, like, share, subscribe, and all your support, feedback, and comments. And a big thank you to all of my clients out there, both regular and new, for keeping me so busy and reaching out for those personal one-on-one readings. It's an honor and a pleasure. Thank you. If any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, you can get more information and contact details by going to my YouTube channel's homepage, clicking on that little About button. Or you can click on to the description bar of any of the videos I post. Please feel free to email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to work with you. Turnaround time is usually pretty timely. I do readings full-time, 5 to 6 days a week. It is what I do. So I work pretty diligently with people's schedules to get them their readings as quickly as possible. And I can usually get back to you within the same day or the first 24 hours of your initial contact. I do a wide variety of readings in all areas of life. So send me an email if you're interested. We'll go from there. For fast answers to the quick, easy questions, you can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy. That link is also provided. All right, let's get right into this reading. This is for the fire sign of Sagittarius for the remainder of November 2018. So we're looking at the last couple of weeks of November. Now, general readings always resonate a little differently for everybody watching because there's so many of you watching. So if you know your rising and moon sign, you may want to watch those as well for any additional clarification. Okay, Sagittarius, let's see what the remainder of November 2018 has in store for you. We begin with the Fool, my favorite major arcana card, followed by the Hierophant. And we have Justice, followed by the Ten of Wands. From the bottom of the deck, your overall energy for the remainder of November 2018 is the Nine of Swords. Okay, Sagittarius. It feels a little similar to Aries. So there may be a little something in some of the fire signs, although it's not quite the same, but I never like getting the Nine of Swords card for people because it represents a lot of stress, anxiety, worry, overthinking something, circular thinking, and that looks like the focus, your general energy for the remainder of November 2018. But forewarned is forearmed. That's the beauty of doing these readings. We watch them if we can, so that we kind of have an idea and some guidance over what's coming, so we can lessen and sometimes negate any challenging energy. So it looks like a lot of you for the last couple of weeks of November might be overthinking something, maybe making something bigger in your head just by focusing on it, going over and over and overthinking it. You may be making it bigger in your head, in your mind, than is actually in the reality of the actual situation. So the Nine of Swords can represent, while the source of your anxiety, worry, stress, fear may be quite valid, but the Nine of Swords comes up when you're overthinking it. You're thinking about it too much, so it gets to be bigger and bigger and worse in your head, and it doesn't even reflect the reality of the situation. So it's this is always an advice to kind of cut back on that because it may be interfering, with your sleep. It's kind of this underlying worry, anxiety, stress, energy. You're thinking about it too much, trying to look at it from every angle. And usually when the Nine of Swords comes up, usually what we're worried about is fear of the future in some way, trying to pre-write a script for a future that has not even unfolded yet. Which is not our territory. That's kind of God's. Our job is to put one foot in front of the other, do what's in front of us to do, and trust the rest that we have no control over. The Nine of Swords usually comes up when you're worried about things that haven't happened yet. What do I do if this happens? What do I do if this doesn't happen? Overthinking it when you can see that this owl on the windowsill. Everything is symbolic on a tarot card, and owls are one of those universal symbols of wisdom, enlightenment, insight, guidance. But she cannot see that owl, even though it's very close to her. because she's completely consumed by whatever it is that's troubling her. So it's a card that represents, maybe over analyzing it, being overly critical about something, thinking about something over and over, around and around and around, which makes it seem bigger and magnifies what the source of your worry and stress is. So really cut back on that. I don't feel like it's that bad. And actually, I feel like for the majority of you, this is worry and stress over a potential new beginning or starting off on a new path. Some of you may have recently or are right now starting off on a new path and it's scary to you, or you may be considering starting something new or branching out into something else, or something may have happened to put you in a position where you need to start something new or do something different, maybe something you haven't done before, or do something in a different way that you're not used to. It's outside of your comfort zone, so you're thinking about maybe everything that could go wrong when actually that hasn't unfolded yet. Because in the beginning we have, or the middle of the month per se, we have the Fool and the Hierophant. I love the Fool, my favorite major arcana card. The Fool is about new beginnings. The Fool is the very first major arcana card in the deck. You can see he's just starting out. He has the 0 at the top of his card. The Fool is about stepping off the beaten path, because the Fool likes to blaze his own trail. He's all about new beginnings, what the possibilities and potential and promise of something is. And because he's just getting ready to take that first step, the possibilities are endless. Anything could happen. Everything could happen. It may be about stepping outside your comfort zone, doing something that you maybe consider a little risky, something you haven't ever done before, you're not comfortable with, or you're not experienced in, or doing something in a different way. Stepping off the beaten path and trusting that you'll get there. You're just going to put one foot in front of the other and dance down the path. Now, what clarifies it is the Hierophant, which is a very different kind of energy than the Fool. The Hierophant is about convention, tradition, walking the prescribed path, walking on the sidewalk, coloring within the lines, large corporations, businesses, establishments, organized religion, roots of origin, where you come from, the tried and true. And the Fool, he kind of likes to do his own thing, jump off the cliff, blaze his own trail. So for some of you, and I mean, you have 1, 2, 3 major arcana cards, and then the 9 of Swords and the 10 of Wands. I feel like you're very close, number one, because you have 3 major arcana cards and 2 minor cards, and those 2 minor cards are a 9 and a 10. 10s represent cycles, ending, completion, a fulfillment place where you then move on to something else. So I feel like whatever this new beginning is, or this potential new beginning is, you're very close to, you're like wrapping up a cycle in your life, and this new beginning that you have started on, are starting on, or are considering starting on, represents this new beginning, which has a lot of you, in fear about what might happen, what might not happen, etc. But I think you're being asked to kind of step out of your comfort zone and to trust, which means that there's only so much that we really have control over. We can lay our plans and we can, have our goals, which is right and proper to do, and do everything that we can along that path, keep doing what's in front of us to do, and put one foot in front of the other. But beyond that, we don't have any control. It's divine timing and orchestration, and it's about trusting in that, which is, I think, kind of what has you in a bit of a tizzy, Sagittarius. Now, at or towards the end of November 2018, we have Justice and the 10 of Wands. So the other thing I wanted to add too is this energy. It's kind of like, do I, don't I, do I, don't I, or I am, and I'm so afraid. What if this happens? What if this doesn't happen? What am I going to do? How do I cover all my bases? And so it may leave, for some of you, it may leave you, some of you may be in kind of this stuck phase where your anxiety, worry, fear is almost paralyzing, which is the antithesis of what will get you out of this energy. Action is the antidote, is our greatest weapon for combating this energy. It's about, okay, I may have anxieties, worries, and fears, but I'm going to get up. I'm going to walk through everything. I'm going to do what I set out to do. I'm going to walk down this new path. It might be unfamiliar to me, somewhat intimidating, but I'm going to do it to the best of my ability and trust the rest to Source, God, Spirit, your angels, and guides, because that's going to determine the outcome here. Justice represents that whatever the outcome is, it's going to be karmically fair, which means that it's going to be based on what you put into it, because justice is the karma card. It's the reap what you sow card. It represents that the outcome of whatever the situation represents is going to be entirely dependent on what you do, not what you wanted, wished for, hoped, intended, but on actual decisions, choices, actions, what you set into motion. So if you worry and kind of stress and don't really do too much or only do it half-heartedly, then the results will reflect that. If you do everything that you can, keep putting one foot in front of the other and trusting to the best of your abilities, then that will be reflected in the outcome as well, which is what justice means. It's karmically fair based on what you put into it. But this new beginning represents, or this potential for a new beginning, if you put yourself into it, Sagittarius, represents a path that is about the ending of a burden, because justice is clarified by the Ten of Wands. And for some of you, it's going to represent something which was unfair being karmically restored. So the Ten of Wands represents a long-held burden. It might not be really long for some of you. It might be quite long for others. I always get the feeling that this man started off with 1 wand, 2 wand, and then they gradually just became more until it became this burden, this cross that you've had to bear, or a long-standing challenge, something you've been putting a lot of work into for a long time, and it's grown so heavy that he can't even stand up straight. But we're at the 10 here. 10s represent a cycle coming to an end. You can see that his head is up. He is looking at his destination, that place where he can lay this burden down, stand up, take a deep breath, and be free from it once and for all. So whether or not this cycle coming to an end, this burden or this long-standing effort or challenge coming to an end, is, Sagittarius, dependent on what you do, because spirit will, in this, spirit's going to meet and match you, but you have to be the initiator of your own choice here, your own change here, meaning that you have to take the first step. You might take it in fear, you might take it, trembling and like, I don't know what's going to happen, but you have to take that first step, because just sitting and worrying about it, number one, isn't going to get anything done. And what I always tell people, oh, but what if I do this and it doesn't happen? But you'll never know if you don't try it. And, if it's something that may take a long time, or it's a goal that's down the road, the time's going to pass anyway. Even if something takes 1 year, 3 years, 5 years to come to fruition, and you're saying, well, I don't want to start this path, it's so long. Guess what? That time's going to pass anyway. So you might as well have something to show for it at the end. So it's about kind of taking a leap of faith, walking out in faith. There is a bit of cautionary advice here too, with the Fool and the Hierophant. Is, make sure that there's water in the pool before we jump into it, which sometimes the Fool isn't prone to thinking about. We don't want to go completely overboard, but it is about taking a leap of faith, a step of faith, maybe doing something you haven't done before. And it's okay to be afraid when you take that step, but take it anyway. That's what's important. So, which will lessen and can even negate this Nine of Swords energy. Action will negate this. It's our greatest weapon, or it will lessen it significantly. Now, what I've been doing the last couple of months is for readings the general readings that look just a little bit more challenging than the others, I like to pull a few clarifying cards. So let's see what this fear is, this fear of this new beginning or this new potential. What is this fear about? The Devil and the Five of Cups. So fear of instability, fear of maybe falling back into old patterns, habits, or temptations, which are connected with loss, the fear of and grief of loss. So fearing that maybe if you try it, it'll fail and you'll lose something, or maybe feeling like walking down a new path will put you back into, an old pattern, or something's going to be the same thing over and over again. Let's pull some advice for you. And again, the area of your life, this could really be anything. It's not coming across loud and clear like it does in a lot of readings. This could be job, work, and career. It could be in the relationship front. Could even be a spiritual path, a conversion, or something of that sort as well. Let's see what, pull one card for primary advice and guidance from Spirit. Thank you. The Star. It's one of the wish fulfillment cards, but it's wish fulfillment that comes from walking in faith, giving your all and letting the rest be. Divine timing and orchestration, God, Spirit, your angels and guides. Taking a step in faith, walking in faith. Giving your all, meaning taking a step in faith and keep walking. Put all your effort into whatever it is this path requires of you. But beyond that, it's divine timing and orchestration, and you need to let that be, which will greatly lessen a lot of this energy about trying to control a future which you really have no control over, and it hasn't even unfolded yet, Sagittarius. So keep that in mind. So Sagittarius, that pretty much sums up your November 2018 mid-month general reading. Again, if any of you are interested in a more personal one-on-one reading with me, please feel free to email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be most happy to work with you and schedule a reading as quickly as possible. I do love and romance, of course, career, work, and finance, investment readings. I do relationship compatibility charting, reconciliation potential. I do 6 and 12-month overviews too, which while you can order them at any time of the year, they're pretty popular the last couple of months of the year around this time because they take a look at what's coming in all the main areas in your life over the next 6 or 12 months, depending on how far ahead you want to look. And a lot of people like to get those as we transition towards the end of one year and the start of a new one. And gift readings as well, which are always popular this time of year. As people like to give personal readings as gifts for friends and families during the holidays. So something else to consider. So I will see you all again, Sagittarius, in a couple of weeks for the December 2018 general readings. And until then, as always, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Take care, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.